Guys, welcome to day 23 of YOUVEMBER.
I could be anywhere, doing anything, seeing anyone, but why are you in my head?
I'm keeping my computer here because I have a lot of notes about the things that I want to say and I don't want to forget anything. And the last video I filmed today, I kept having to lean down to make sure my computer stayed on, and I'd prefer not to have to do that. So anyway, I wanted to basically make a video where I explain my current idea for planning, or my current thoughts for my planning system in 2026. Currently it is October, so by the time of 2026 things might change. I'm not 100% sure, but this is where I'm at so far. Currently in 2025 I have a few different ways that I am planning my life. I have a digital calendar that I use to plan appointments and time block my days. I use Notion calendar, but that also syncs with Google Calendar and they're quite similar. I just like the way Notion calendar looks more, so I tend to use that on my computer, and then Google Calendar is great for just looking really quickly on my phone or something like that. Or if for whatever reason Notion calendar is not working, or vice versa, Google Calendar isn't working, I can use the opposite one. But they sync, so it's really easy to use one or the other. I also like how Notion calendar kind of includes my Notion, like if I have a due date on a Notion item, I can sync it to my calendar and see the task or whatever it is on the calendar itself. I also use a bullet journal. I think previously I made a video about how long I've been doing bullet journaling and everything, but I usually use a bullet journal to plan daily to-do lists, keep track of memories. Sometimes it doesn't work that way because I'm just like so focused on doing my everyday life that I don't actually take time to track my memories and all of that. And it is also sometimes a creative outlet. Lastly, I have my whiteboard calendar that you can see behind me. I use it to also keep track of the month's big events, including moon phases, just appointments, or like holidays. If something important is happening, like I have on here parents visiting, or if I'm visiting someone else, those kind of things, but for the month. Okay, for 2026, I want to continue using my digital calendar method in the same way because it's what works for me, and I don't want to change it up because if it works, it works. I don't need to change it up. In my digital calendar, I will probably try and overlay this or show it later, but I have a few different calendars that I use to organize all of my different life areas and things like that. So I have a default calendar that I use for things like eating and sleeping. This is if I'm time blocking like every minute of my day. It doesn't always go in there, but if I were to time block all of my day and make sure that I have my non-negotiables like eating and sleeping, that's usually in the default calendar because I'm not going to make a whole separate calendar for that, although it could fit under a different calendar that I have that I'll explain later. I also have a calendar, I'm gonna mess this up all the time, a calendar that I call GYST, G-Y-S-T, which is anything that has to do with cleaning, planning, or just in general getting my life together. It often is cleaning tasks or planning tasks, which I just said, but like if I'm planning my goals, I will do that in that calendar. Sorry, I have an alarm going off on my watch. Planning goals, planning making my bullet journal for the next month or cycle, depending on how I'm using it, writing on my whiteboard calendar, making a vision board, what else? Like cleaning the bathrooms, all of that, those things, they go in my gist calendar, or they're categorized in my gist calendar. And then I also have a calendar that is called Alana Mackenzie, and that's for all things this channel, this YouTube channel. It's called that because it's my first and middle name. I chose to use my first and middle name rather than using my first and last, just because it felt safer, although I'm pretty sure people could figure it out, but we're not going to worry about that. But it's really easy to like categorize in my calendar when I'm doing certain YouTube things. So like if I'm filming a video, it's in that calendar, or if I'm editing a video, it's in that calendar. I have a calendar called Appointments, which is for, I'm sure you can all guess it, appointments. So like therapy appointments, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, just appointments, anything that's like an appointment. I don't need to explain that more. I also have one for professional development, like courses or job searching. That's a big thing that I've been working with currently, trying to find a job. I also have a calendar for self-care, which is all things self-care. This is the one that eating and sleeping could probably technically go under, but I tend to use this for specifically like self-care tasks, the like stereotypical self-care tasks. So if I'm doing an everything shower, it's in this one. Or if I were to get my nails done, but that would be in an appointment if I got them done. But if I did them myself, that's a self-care task. If I want a time specifically that I'm doing a face mask, or like doing all of those things at once, I would maybe call it like the task self-care, and then it would be in the self-care calendar as well. Or sometimes like yoga could be in this calendar or a different calendar depending on how I'm feeling, but if it's more of a self-care yoga, I would do it in that one. Or like if I'm feeling like doing tarot, that could be self-care possibly. I also have 2 more calendars, workouts and work. Those are exactly what they sound like. If I have a specific workout I'm doing, I will write down the workout, but then put it in the workout calendar. So like every morning I go on a walk, even though it's not a very vigorous workout for me, I put it in the workout calendar. But also like running, weightlifting, physical therapy, that all goes under the workout calendar. And then work, I make sure I keep in the days I'm working. If there's a special event for work, that all goes in that calendar. Now, to move on to, I also in 2026 will be using a bullet journal because I want to. This will also be my 10th year of bullet journaling, which is very hard to believe, but I will be using a bullet journal. I think I've decided which one is my bullet journal, but I am going to keep that a secret until I make my bullet journaling video. I think I'm going to do a 2026 bullet journal spread video. I'm not thinking of words right now, I apologize. And currently I am still planning to do cyclic planning, which is, they're usually 4 weeks, but it's based on the quarters of the year. So you have 4 quarters in a year, and each quarter is 13 weeks, but then you do 4 weeks is 1 cycle, and there's three cycles each quarter, which is 12 weeks, and then the last cycle includes a reset week, so that makes 13 weeks is 1 quarter, and so on. That's the current plan. Things might change, I don't know. This is what I am currently planning to do. I did this year, but I did not go very far into using the cycles and quarters to their full potential. So I want to make 2026 much more quarter and cycle planning heavy. Not making it difficult, but actually using it to their full potential, if that makes sense. I am not going to talk a lot about that in this video because, to be honest, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. It's October. I'm kind of slowly planning for the next year, which is why I have this written down, but I have not done like the in-depth planning for next year yet because it's October. I will probably talk more about this either in a separate video where I talk specifically about cyclic planning or like how I will be planning, because this is my system that I plan with. But if I either make a video just specifically about planning for next year, or if I'm going to do a or if I'll combine it with my 2026 bullet journal, bullet journaling setup video. That's the word. Anyway, and that bullet journal setup video will probably come out in December. I want to make that clear because otherwise I would have to pre-film it, and I do not have time or want to have it all done yet. I want to give myself the time to really enjoy the setup and work on it slowly. I also will stick with doing my whiteboard calendar the same way. I think it works best for me, and it's a very simple, easy way of looking at it. So I basically just choose certain colors to mean certain things based on the month. Usually, some of them are the same every month. Like I do a dark blue for the moon phases, and that's what I do every month. But other than that, I switch it up sometimes. I also like to put my videos on there if I remember when they're happening and things like that. And then I think I'm gonna start working on planning how I want to get videos done. That way they actually get done ahead of time. Unless they're a vlog, then there's only so ahead I can be. Otherwise it feels very chaotic. But anyway, I think that is all I have to say about my planning system for 2026 at this point. If I have more updates, hopefully they will come in a future video. Look out for that. Like I said, I may film an update about it as it gets closer to 2026 if there's more to say or if things change. That's basically what I just said, but just wanted to clarify. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great night or day wherever you are or whenever you're watching this. See you tomorrow for the next day of YOUVEMBER. Bye!
Now I second guess every second thought where the setup is for how your name gets involved. But I'd rather be